Thank you, Megan. Good morning. It's been a very consequential 24 hours in the life cycle of this response. As you know, we were able to land and lock down the capping stack yesterday on the lower marine riser package from the blowout preventer from the Horizon Deepwater. This morning, several significant activities are taking place. We just finished a seismic run through the field, about a 2.5 kilometer run, basically from north to south, with a boat called the Gecko Topaz, carrying very sophisticated acoustical sensors. That is intended to give us a baseline from which we can detect any anomalies after we do the well integrity test regarding anything that might happen with the seafloor or the formation moving ahead. The sequence of events that will take place and will start sometime after noon today. We are still, I might add just as background, to have that vessel come through with the very sensitive acoustic sensors that they have on board requires you to clear just about everybody out of the area, not only so they can have a very clear way to hear and do their sensing, but also there are navigation issues, and that's the reason it was done in daylight. We were going to try and do it yesterday, but we ran out of daylight, so it was done at first light this morning. Once everything is redeployed and back in the area, especially ROV support, these things will happen in the following sequence. When we get ready to start the well integrity test, we will first cease production through the Q4000 and the Helix Producer 1. We will then divert all the hydrocarbons up into the new capping stack. Valves through the kill and the choke lines for the new capping stack will be opened, and the center bore is already open. So we will be venting basically through three different exits on the capping stack: the kill line, the choke line, and the main line going through the bore. Then in sequence, we will attempt to close the stack down and assess the pressure readings as we do that. The first thing we will do is close the main ram. There are three rams. The middle one will be closed. That will basically shut off the flow outward through the top of the capping stack. At that point, we'll take pressure readings. We will then close the kill line, which is the second remaining outlet, and take pressure readings. The third and most critical will be the choke line. There's a special device that has been built on the capping stack. You will see it. If you look at the video, it is yellow, it is long horizontally, and then there's a curved up pipe for the exit of the hydrocarbons. That choke line will be controlled by a remotely operating vehicle, which will slowly close it incrementally. And this is going to be very, very important because we want to measure the amount of closure, which will be measured radially by turns of that choke line valve by an ROV, simultaneously taking pressure readings. The goal is to slowly close that down and understand the changes in pressure as we are closing it until that choke line is closed. At that point, there will be no hydrocarbons exiting from the capping stack, and we will go into a period where we're going to start taking pressure readings. It will go in basically 6, 24, and 40-hour increments depending on the results. And as we've said before, while it may be counterintuitive to some, in this exercise, high pressure is good. We have a considerable amount of pressure down on the reservoir, forcing the hydrocarbons up through the wellbore. We are looking for somewhere between 8,000 and 9,000 psi inside the capping stack, which would indicate to us that the hydrocarbons are being forced up and the wellbore is being able to withstand that pressure. And that is good news. If we are down around in the 4,000 to 5,000, 6,000 range, that could potentially tell us that the hydrocarbons are being diverted someplace else, and we would have to try and assess the implications of that. And as you might imagine, there are gradations as you go up from 4,000 or 5,000 psi up to 8 or 9. The implications of all of that will have a great deal to do with the pressure readings, what the empirical readings tell us, and then discussions with BP and the science technical team that is here representing the federal government and some of the labs around the country. We will at some point try to get to 8,000 or 9,000 and sustain that for some period of time. And these will be done basically, as I said, if we have a very low pressure reading, we will try and need at least 6 hours of those readings to try and assure that that is the reading. If it's a little higher, we want to go for 24 hours, and if it's up at 8,000 or 9,000, we would like to go 48 hours just to make sure it can sustain those pressures for that amount of time. So based on the pressure readings that we find, this could be 6, 24, or 48 hours. And at that point, we will have a better idea not only of the pressure, It'll tell us something about the condition of the wellbore itself, and ultimately will also tell us something about the flow rate, which to date has been based on estimates, based on the digital imagery, acoustic testing, and so forth. So a consequential day. Somewhere afternoon we will start. The technical team is being assembled. After this press conference, I'll be meeting with Secretary Chu from the Department of Energy, Marshall McNutt from the U.S. Geological Survey, Tom Hunter from Sandia Labs, and our other representatives of the technical community, and we will be discussing how we will resolve issues that are going to come up as we get pressure readings and try and understand what is going on. The range of options that could come out of the testing of the stacking cap include knowledge that the cap itself can withstand 8,000 to 9,000 psi pressure indefinitely, which means there might be an opportunity to have what we would call a shut-in of the well, basically to just hold it at that point. Anything less than that might bring into play a decision to continue to produce. And at that point, we will be able to produce off of 4 lines, the choke and the kill line from the original blowout preventer, plus the choke and the kill lines from the new stacking cap. That is intended by around the 18th of July to take us to a capacity of 60 to 80,000 barrels a day, which we think will exceed the flow. So either through a potential shut-in of the well or being able to produce most or if not all of the flow we believe is generated, either way, we will have a way to contain the oil if we are successful in the pressure readings, and again, if we are successful. This is very, very important because it'll allow us to manage the hydrocarbons, but the ultimate success of this entire endeavor will be the relief well. And development driller 3 is now at 17,840 feet measured depth. They've been there for a day or two. They are doing testing to make sure they have the right angle of attack as they close in for the last 60 or 70 feet before they will actually try and make the penetration for the relief well. And the current estimate of how far away they are from the condo well at this point is 4 feet 4 inches. So you can imagine this gets pretty precise as they're trying to go down another 60 or so feet and actually hit the point where they can drill into the annulus and potentially to a 7-inch casing pipe. So that continues as well. One other thing, if we are to go to a full production of 4 different outlets around the 17th, 18th, 19th July, somewhere around there, it will require us to continue to build and construct the second freestanding riser pipe. That is in progress right now and should be ready for production around the 19th of July. Just a couple other issues. Skimmers have always been an issue for us. We know as we've expanded our defense of the coastline from Florida to south central Louisiana, we are on pace at this point by the end of the month of July to have approximately 1,000 skimmers in the inventory. We are just below 600 right now, and we are continuing to ramp up from a variety of sources, including international sources of supply, resources that have been freed up as a result of the emergency rulemaking we did to lower the response standby requirements elsewhere in the country. And we continue to aggressively acquire skimmers. Some critical resources that we're starting to come to grips with as we move forward. It may not be intuitive to you, but interesting to note, I think. We are using about 2 million Tyvek suits a day. Those are the white suits we use to clean up the beaches. We may run into a national supply problem with those sooner or later. Those suits are also used for a variety of other emergency response purposes, and we're going to be looking at the source supply and how we deal with that. As we increase our aerial surveillance, we're also looking at putting more qualified observers out there. So in addition to the pilots that are flying out there, we have trained folks, say from NOAA and other places, can help us actually characterize the oil that we see and any issues regarding wildlife and so forth. So this continues to be a very complex, nuanced and broad-based response with a lot of things going on. In addition to everything else, as you know, we brought the Helix producer online last night. We will take it back down for the well integrity test, but that ultimately will have the capability to do around 20,000 barrels a day. It was up online and operating, and before midnight last night, we were actually able to produce 1,000 barrels. In addition to the Q4000, which was able to flare off in both gas and oil of about 7,291 barrels, we actually produced while we were switching out the cap 8,300 barrels yesterday. So a complicated operation, a lot of densely compacted ships and ROVs out there. So far safely done. We'll continue to watch. with great anticipation. We realize there's significant chances that we can improve our ability to contain these hydrocarbons moving forward, and everybody will be watching very closely over the next 24 hours. With that, I'd be glad to take your questions.